everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Stream of Thought podcast, where thoughts flow and ideas stick. I'm your host, Jasmine. And in today's episode, first, I want to point out the obvious. I'm beside my Christmas tree, and that is really exciting for me. I did put this Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving, a couple days before Thanksgiving, and I was just so excited. And it is 9 feet tall, and it's like literally at my ceiling. I guess I didn't put it together that I was going to need a ladder and then some to decorate this tree because I'm only 5'3", barely. I've never had a 9 foot tree. It was super exciting to get it. I next step is the 12 foot tree because I plan to have really high ceilings in our forever home. So I can't wait to also get that. And then I'm gonna need some help for sure, like maybe a whole other person to stand on to do that. But anyway, yeah, I'm beside my tree instead of my record player today because it's Christmas, y'all. But back to Thanksgiving though. I hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving. Um, I had an amazing Thanksgiving. I spent time with family. Thanksgiving, honestly, is my favorite holiday. Even though I kind of skip over it with, Christmas decorations, like I go straight from I don't decorate for Halloween because I'm not really into like demons and ghouls and like death and stuff like that, like scary things. Like that's not for me. I just do like a whole fall decoration. And so, but after Thanksgiving, well, the week before or the week of Thanksgiving, I just go straight to Christmas because, like, what am I gonna do? Put out a turkey? Like, I feel like it's Christmas now. Um, but yeah, I like spending time with family and stuff like that, and I like cooking. And this year, well, I would say for the past probably 3, 4 years, maybe, I have my contribution has always been quiche. So like make a breakfast quiche just has so I normally do not eat pork or beef. However, Thanksgiving is an exception. I do put pork sausage in my quiche and I do put bacon in my quiche because like it's Thanksgiving. I don't feel like there are really too many rules that you can have for Thanksgiving. Just eat. And so, it's a breakfast quiche, and I make like 3 or 4 of them because I like to eat them, and I also like to take them to family because they like my quiche. So that's my contribution for Thanksgiving, and also I make a homemade eggnog, which is chef's kiss is a bomb. Okay, like I don't mean to toot my own horn, but yeah, I make a good eggnog and I put rum extract in it or vanilla extract. And I give people options. Like some people, I don't like to put a lot of alcohol. I don't put any alcohol in it, or I put the extract in it possibly, depending on the batch, because I like people to, hey, do what you want. Some people like more alcohol than others, so like add your liquor afterwards. But it's really tasty. This Thanksgiving, however, was different, and I hope I'm not like super hoarse, but yeah, I had a really bad cold. I'm getting over that, but then after I got the cold, I got bronchitis, and so my voice has been like in and out, and I got that cough, that irritating cough that just can't get over, that cough that just will never go away. But yeah, so I've been struggling a bit when it comes to that. And I mean, I had a really bad cold. It might have been an upper respiratory infection. I know it wasn't COVID because I got tested myself and it was negative. I had a fever, but it was a low grade fever. So they said, oh, well, it's not high enough for the flu. So no COVID, no flu. But just a really bad cold, like everything that came with it, the body aches, the fever, the like I was just miserable. And this was right around Thanksgiving. So I was like, "Oh, I do not want to miss Thanksgiving with family and like doing like I can't be in bed. Like what is happening?" So I pushed through and nobody got sick. So that's how, like, I don't know how nobody got sick, but literally no one caught what I had. So that was a blessing. But yeah, once the cold symptoms faded, then it was like, oh, you got acute bronchitis. It's not over. So, and acute bronchitis can last for like a few weeks, that irritating cough and like all the other stuff that comes with it. So, yeah, that's what I'm going through now. And so fun. Um, but yeah, so that was Thanksgiving. And then our anniversary, so our 5-year anniversary is on the 29th. And so the weekend, the Black Friday weekend and the weekend after Thanksgiving, we went to DC. And DC holds a really special place in our hearts because that's where it all began for us. 5 years ago in DC, that's where he asked me to be his girlfriend. And of course, I said yes. And so we wanted this experience to be super memorable. We went up there and we did a lot of the things, well, some of the things that we did 5 years ago, and just reminiscing. It was a really cute trip, and I would definitely do it again. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Sick the whole time, but I said I'm not gonna miss this either because this is very important. 5 years, we cannot do this again. I cannot be in the bed, on our 5-year anniversary. So I'm a survivor. I pushed through and I'm still pushing through. But good thing I am mostly on the better end of it. Like I'm getting out of the bronchitis phase, like the really bad part of it. Thank God. Um, yeah. So I was listening to this podcast the other day because I like to listen to other podcasts. And I like to listen to interviews that are like inspirational or like something that I can gain, insight or other perspectives from. Like I really enjoy doing that. So there was this, and I do not remember the name of this podcast. Like, I just know who was on it. So the person that was being interviewed, it was Joel Barnes. So Joel Barnes is a gospel singer, worship leader, in Maverick City Music. That's what he was a part of. He's not anymore for whatever reasons, but yeah, he's a singer and he's really good. He's like probably one of my favorite gospel artists. Newer, up and coming, like really popular. He has a really good voice, and his message is really good. And he seems like an overall really good person. But he was being interviewed, and it popped up on my YouTube, and I was like, oh, I want to watch this because I like Joel, and so and I want to hear what he has to say. So he recently got married. He was talking about how and it made me laugh because my husband literally said the same thing the other day. He was like, when you get married, like Joel said this. He was like, when you get married, like you'll find that wives, they just be doing stuff. And he was talking about how his wife was like decorating and stuff like that, like redecorating their house, and had all these ideas and stuff. He would come home and it would be different. And my husband just said that about me because I literally did that same thing. He came home one day and the tree was up, and it was a struggle putting this tree up. Like I said, it's 9 feet. So you imagine a 5'3" barely person trying to get this 9 foot tree up. Like I was sweating, like all of the little frost things, or because this is like a frosted tree. So like they were getting in my hair, they're getting all over my clothes. Like I had to take a break in the middle of it because it was just a lot for me. But I started it, and so with the type of personality that I have, when I start something, I have to finish it. So I got it up. Now I got it up. However, the lights were not working because they were not connected, because I didn't think about that when I was putting the tree up, because it was so stressful putting the tree together that I had forgot that the tree sections need to be turned a certain way so that the lights can connect for each section. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The tree is up and it's decorated, okay? And I felt accomplished. I felt like I really did something. So, but yeah, back to Joel's point, he said that wives just be doing stuff, and I related to that. I related to his wife, and I don't even know her. But yeah, we be doing stuff because like, why not? You know, why not? But he said some other things that really made me think. He said that some women want the power and position of a man, with the privilege of being a woman, but with the accountability of being a child. And I was like, that is really interesting. He did say some women. He didn't say all women. He said some women. And I was like, oh, well, I wonder what he means by that. Because that's like, I feel like that's heavy. And you could unpack that in different ways. So when he unpacked it, the example that he gave was like, men, they're expected to do certain things. Like one example was like paying for dinners, um, and that women like those women that think like that might not want to do that. So like you want to be treated a certain way, but it's also certain things that you aren't willing to do. Like I'm strong and I'm independent. I'm an independent woman, don't need no man, right? But also I'm not paying for that. I'm not doing that. So I feel like so I was like, that's a really good example, because if the expectation is on the man to always do that, then you have to um, be accepting and respectful and understanding of his role in this dating situation or relationship, instead of acting like you don't appreciate what he's doing. So it was one thing that he said. He was like, there was a time where he was broke and like he would be going on dates, and what the women didn't know is that that woman, she had to get cute and just show up, right? Like we got to get cute, we got to dress nice, we got to do the makeup, the hair, all that stuff, right? And just show up to the dinner. But this man had to work his butt off to get enough money to afford to take you on that date to that restaurant that you liked. And then he also had to make sure he looked nice, and he had to show up and look good for you. So yeah, I think it was just like an appreciation that is lacking, where, and I do think that, yes, of course, we as women, we want to be pampered. We deserve it. We do deserve it. But you can't act like you can't lack respect for the man that put in all that work to give it to you. So it's interesting to see the male perspective and see how different it is than how we think, because um, I'm not saying I was that girl. I definitely wasn't that girl, but I know a lot of women who are like that, like, oh, well, he should do this for me, he should do that, and it's kind of like, well, I mean, okay, but why? You know, like, why should he do that for you? And do you appreciate it when you get it? Because I feel like men are expected to do a lot. Men are expected to do a lot. And, the good ones, they show up, and they should be appreciated. So kudos to them. Another thing that he said that just really like made me think was that he said that men have to be okay with being rejected and women don't. So that made me think, and I was like, rejection. There's a saying where it's like, every rejection is God's protection, and that is true. However, I don't like I could probably count on my hand, like on one hand, and not even fill it up of how many times I've actually been rejected by men, like actually rejected. So, uh, and I had to think really hard about those. And I had to think like, oh, was that a rejection? Like, because it's so much less common for us than it is for them. And he gave the example where he was like, I like it could be a man that said hey beautiful to a woman and like tried to talk to her or whatever, and that woman turned him down, right? But little does she know, like she could have been like the 10th woman he tried to talk to that day, and that could have been the 10th time he got rejected. And that could have been the first time she was, complimented in that day, and that made her day. But then he has to deal with being rejected so much by so many women. And I was like, that's interesting. So I guess it's so different. It's so different than what the experience that a man has than what we have as women. And so I don't know. That was just really interesting. The whole video just gave me a whole different perspective on how to look at um, how men may feel and what men may have to go through. Um, yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And another thing that Joel said was that so like faithfulness or holiness is expensive on the front end, but sin is more expensive on the back end. And I was like, okay, so that's another food for thought. What does he mean by that? So an example that he gave was that when he had first started dating his now wife, because they were celibate, he would have to book separate hotel rooms. Like if they would go places, he would book him a hotel room, and he would book her a hotel room because like nothing was happening, right? So having that that's expensive for him on the front end, knowing that he had to do that every single time he wanted to take her out somewhere else. But sin is expensive on the back end because, wow, everything you want it quickly. Like when you sin, right? Everything happens not according to God, but according to worldly desires, right? So if you had got that one hotel room and things had happened, it would have been on the front end just immediate, pleasure, desire, what he wanted, right? But on the back end, like it could have been some regret in there, and it could have backfired for him because that wasn't what it was supposed to be. They were supposed to be celibate. They were supposed to wait, and it probably wouldn't have worked out if it was a forced situation between him and her, because that's not how they were meant to be together. So I said, oh, that's a really good way to unpack that, because that can be applied to so many different aspects of life. And now that was his example, and I feel like that was a really good example. However, that doesn't apply to everybody, and that also is okay. Now, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to regret your sin, that your sin will come back to bite you if it's that specific one at the end of the day, because there are so many people who weren't or who aren't celibate and have happy marriages, happy lives, happy relationships, and it's not like, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I feel like I said, I feel like that was a really good example that he gave. Yeah, so those are just some of the things that I really felt like, wow, this is really something that I can not really relate to, but just take some knowledge from. I think that the whole purpose of us being in this world, right, and meeting people is so that we can learn from them. And I just think that there was so much to learn from that interview, but there's so much to learn from just life in general, just experiencing life, meeting new people. And yeah, I felt like this week I gained some knowledge, and I'm appreciative of it. But yeah, and I'm really excited for what's to come. It's about to be 2026, y'all, in a few weeks, because it's about to be Christmas and then New Year's. And I'm just really excited to go into the new year and just do some new things. I have some things up my sleeve that I'm ready to start and that I can't wait to talk about in future podcast episodes. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in to this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.